Let's be real. Ice Age without Sid just wouldn't be Ice Age.
Why? Doesn't anyone love me? Isn't there anyone who cares about Sid the Sloth?
He's hands down one of the best characters in the franchise, and it's hard not to love him. His goofy, lovable nature is what makes him so unforgettable. In this video, we're going to dive into his backstory, which is both heartbreaking and revealing. We'll also explore more about his personality and why he's such a standout character, so let's jump right in. Sid didn't exactly grow up in a warm, loving environment. His family was the opposite of supportive. He grew up in the tough world of the Ice Age, and while you'd think being part of a big sloth family would be a good thing, for Sid, it was anything but. His family was more concerned with survival than forming close emotional connections. So, every time they prepared for their seasonal migration, they would intentionally leave Sid behind. They didn't just forget him, they actively avoided him, making sure he was left behind on purpose. This wasn't just a one-time thing. It happened over and over again. They didn't want him around so badly that they would sometimes go to extreme lengths to keep him from following them, like tying him up and gagging him. You can imagine how devastating this was for Sid, feeling abandoned and unwanted by the very people who were supposed to care for him. But here's the thing about Sid. Despite all this, he didn't let it break his spirit. He didn't change who he was, even though his family tried to make him feel like he didn't belong. Instead, Sid developed that quirky, hilarious personality we all know and love today. His resilience and ability to stay positive in the face of such harsh treatment are what make his character so special. Sid took all that hurt and turned it into humor, making him one of the most endearing characters in the entire Ice Age series. His personality is a delightful mix of clumsiness, optimism, and an overwhelming desire for companionship. If you ask me, he's the heart and soul of the Ice Age franchise. He's portrayed as the comic relief, always bringing humor through his silly antics and misunderstandings. Since he's a sloth, it's no surprise that productivity isn't exactly his strong suit. Sid's laziness is a running joke throughout the series. He'd much rather lounge around than take on anything too strenuous. But here's the thing, his laid-back attitude is balanced by his enormous heart. Sid genuinely cares about others, and his interactions with the other characters in the movies highlight his deep need for acceptance. Take his friendship with Manny, for example. Manny is a huge solitary mammoth who's been through his own share of hardships, and Diego, who starts off as a cunning and dangerous predator. At first, neither of them can stand Sid. They find him annoying and, frankly, a bit of a nuisance. But because of Sid's persistence and loyalty, he eventually wins them over. Despite their initial resistance, Manny and Diego come to realize that Sid's unwavering friendship and his ability to see the best in everyone make him an essential part of their little group. Sid isn't just comic relief. He's the glue that holds this makeshift family together. His unlikely bond with Manny and Diego shows how much he craves acceptance and how, despite his quirks and flaws, he has a unique way of bringing people, or rather animals, together. Over the course of the Ice Age films, he undergoes a truly remarkable journey of growth and development. What starts as a quest for belonging transforms into a deeper journey of forming meaningful connections with his companions. In the first film, Sid joins Manny and Diego on a mission to return a human baby to its family. This adventure is a turning point for Sid, as he proves to himself and others that he's much more than just the comic relief of the group. During this journey, he demonstrates bravery, loyalty, and resourcefulness when the situation calls for it. By the time we get to the third movie, we see another layer of Sid's character unfold. He becomes a protective father, or rather mother figure, to a group of baby dinosaurs, taking care of them as if they were his own. This showcases his nurturing side, revealing that beneath his clumsy exterior is someone who deeply cares for others. It's a touching development that shows his capacity for love and responsibility, qualities that might have been overlooked in his earlier appearances. From this point on, throughout the rest of the franchise, Sid's character continues to evolve. He never loses that upbeat, positive personality, no matter what life throws at him. What makes Sid's character so special is that he doesn't change who he is to fit in. he remains true to himself, and because of this, he eventually finds the place where he belongs.